My name is Lisa Raymond. I'm 29 years old, and I want to tell you a story about love, sacrifice, and the brutal moment I realized my father valued money more than my life. 16 months ago, I lay in a hospital bed, recovering from surgery one kidney lighter because I had just saved my dad's life. And 4 weeks ago, I found out he had quietly rewritten his will and left me out of it completely. Before I take you back to the day he begged me for that kidney, tell me where you're watching from, and if you've ever felt betrayed by someone you would have given everything for, hit that subscribe button. Because this is the kind of pain that changes you forever. Growing up, I was the classic good daughter. Quiet, responsible, straight A's. I was the emotional glue in a house full of broken pieces. My mom left when I was 8. My dad, Leonard, raised me and my younger brother on his own. At least that's what people thought. But what they didn't see was that he wasn't raising us so much as surviving us. He worked long hours as a contractor, and when he wasn't working, he was drinking. Still, I worshipped him. Because when you're a kid, you take what little love you get and turn it into everything. When I graduated college and got my first job in social work, I made it my mission to take care of the family. I sent my dad money when the truck broke down, paid off my brother's student loan. I didn't think twice. That's what family's for, right? Then last year, everything changed. I still remember the voicemail. "Hey, Lise. It's Dad. Call me back. It's important." He sounded small, fragile. When I called him, he didn't dance around it. He was in end-stage renal failure. His kidneys were barely functioning. The dialysis was grueling, and his doctor had said his best chance was a transplant. I didn't even hesitate. "Test me," I said. "See if I'm a match." He protested, said he couldn't ask that of me, but I could hear the relief in his voice when I insisted. 2 months later, I was wheeled into the operating room beside him. I looked at him through the glass. He smiled, gave me a thumbs up, and I thought, this is what love looks like. The surgery was successful. He recovered faster than expected. I, on the other hand, was in agonizing pain. I couldn't walk upright for weeks. I had to take time off work. Financially and physically, I was wiped out. And that's when things started to shift. Calls from my dad became less frequent. When I did call him, he'd sound annoyed, impatient. "How are you feeling?" I'd ask. "Fine," he'd say. "Busy." One day I asked him if he wanted to grab lunch, my treat. He paused and said, "Lisa, not everything has to be about you." I hung up and cried for an hour. I thought maybe it was the recovery. Maybe he was overwhelmed. Maybe I was expecting too much. I didn't realize I was slowly waking up to the truth. 4 weeks ago, my cousin texted me a photo. It was a blurry shot of a family dinner I hadn't been invited to. My dad, my brother, my uncle all smiling. Below it, my cousin wrote, "Just FYI, your dad changed his will. Left everything to Matt." I laughed. I thought it was a joke. But the more I asked around, the more I realized it was true. He hadn't just added Matt. He'd removed me, the same daughter who gave up an organ to save his life. I confronted him. His exact words? "You're doing fine. You don't need anything from me. Matt has kids. He needs help more." I stood there, jaw clenched, as every cell in my body screamed. "But I gave you a kidney," I said. He looked away and mumbled, "And I thanked you." You grieve twice in these situations. Once for the betrayal, and once for the parent you thought you had. I spiraled. I couldn't sleep. I questioned everything. Was he always like this? Was I just too desperate to see it? I spent weeks in therapy trying to understand why someone would use their own child's body and then discard them like an ATM with a heartbeat. I realized something heartbreaking. My dad had always measured love in transactions. When I was useful, I mattered. When I wasn't, I didn't. And no amount of self-sacrifice would ever make me worthy in his eyes. But this isn't where my story ends. After the shock wore off, something else emerged: clarity. I stopped chasing crumbs. I stopped trying to earn love that should have been freely given. I took time off work to travel. I met people who reminded me what real care looks like. Friends who texted to check on me. Strangers who helped me lift my bag on a train without knowing my back still ached from surgery. I stopped defining my worth through the lens of someone who couldn't see it. And I began, slowly, to forgive myself, not for giving him my kidney, but for thinking it would fix everything. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you love deeply, someone you sacrificed for, someone who took more than they ever gave, you are not alone. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop hoping someone will change and start changing your proximity to their power over you. I still live with one kidney. I still feel pain on rainy days. But I no longer carry the burden of trying to be enough for a father who is never enough for me. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment below, tell me how you took your power back. Subscribe for more stories like this, and share this video with someone who needs to hear. Love should never cost you your peace, your self-worth, or your health. Thank you for listening.